very likely, if you're watching us, you don't know what sleep is.
So I've actually had sleep issues my whole life, but I recently set out to fix that, and surprisingly, it worked. So we'll be sharing some of the journey and favorite sleep solutions, starting with what I like to call sleep boot camp.
It seems the more we learn about sleep, the more we learn about how crucial it is to good health.
Researchers have discovered a link between sleep apnea and cancer.
We are back now with a new health alert about sleep and heart disease.
A lot of adverse effects on our immune system as well if we're not sleeping.
In other words, we're in trouble.
Hey, overnighters, anyone get more than 5 hours sleep last night? No? You either?
Notice my hand isn't up either. So I'm heading to BlueSleep's Dr. Jordan Stern to see if he might rehabilitate this lifelong insomniac. Step 1, see if it's actually insomnia that's my problem.
What's the difference between sleep apnea and insomnia?
Very different things. Insomnia is not being able to fall asleep or stay asleep, and sleep apnea is not breathing at night, and that frequently wakes people up, sometimes up to 100 times an hour.
100 times an hour?
100 times an hour.
Apnea patients might not even realize this is happening. Treatment can be as simple as wearing a custom mouthguard. And luckily, you can now test for apnea or insomnia without going to a sleep center and getting all hooked up like Frankenstein's monster.
It's alive!
Instead, Dr. Stern hooks me up with 2 devices to use at home.
All right, I'm all hooked up to the at-home sleep apnea test. The nose cannula feels a little funny, but other than that, it's pretty comfortable.
After a few nights, we follow up via telemedicine.
We looked at the results, and in your case, there was no sleep apnea.
The bad news is I'm getting such little sleep, I can't even do the second test. But Stern says the solution isn't sleeping pills. It's cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, or CBTI. It trains you to fall asleep quickly and develop good sleep habits. And mine were all wrong. For starters, I go to bed as soon as I get home. But between 3 shows, that can vary from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., not counting extra shoots.
It's important to have a routine schedule because your brain has a routine schedule, even if you don't, and all of the cells in your body have a 24-hour cycle.
My second mistake, staying in bed even when I can't sleep.
You can't have the bed be associated with the anxiety that you're not going to fall asleep. So after 20 minutes, get out of bed, do something that's relaxing, and then when you start feeling sleepy, then get back into bed.
So that reestablishes your relationship as bed is where I sleep.
Yeah, and definitely not where you're bringing your computer or your cell phone or anything else.
Okay, so I pretty much botched all that. To make up for my lack of sleep, I take long naps later in the day.
Ideally, you should nap no longer than 20 minutes and try to keep it at least 6 or 7 hours before you go to sleep.
Even my pajamas were wrong.
The issue with pajamas is that they can probably cause overheating. You want something comfortable, something that's light.
Finally, my eating habits.
Do you often eat rich foods late at night?
Sometimes, you could say that. Happy pizza day! I got a little flavor on the bottom of the bag. It's delicious.
Is it?
Eating a big heavy meal definitely will make you sleep badly.
Your body's working so hard to digest that food, you can't fall asleep.
That's right.
Oh, and one more thing to complicate that.
If you don't sleep enough, you can't lose weight.
I am listening.
And if you don't sleep enough and you can't control your appetite, you tend to also want to eat bad foods.
Doc, this is eye-opening.
So over the course of the next 3 weeks, I rescheduled midday shoots, quit pigging out before bedtime, found some lighter PJs, stopped napping, and started going to bed around 9 a.m., even when I got home from work earlier, and even on weekends.
It is 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning. I am exhausted and so tempted to go to sleep, but I am determined to make it to 9 a.m. Just me and Frank.
But while that wasn't easy, my biggest challenge was less straightforward.
When I finally get into bed, my mind is kind of racing and I just can't seem to calm down.
The best solution for me was something called constructive worry. A couple of hours before bedtime, quickly jot down anything weighing on your mind and the next step toward resolving each issue. It teaches your brain there's a time and place for planning and worrying, and it's not bed. Within just 3 weeks,
You're sleeping a reasonable amount of time, and the proportion of deep sleep and light sleep that you get is almost normal. If I had to say one thing, it would be that if you gave yourself an extra 1 hour in bed, obviously you might do better.
And happy to say with a few more adjustments, I'm able to sleep 8 hours a day for the first time
in my life.
Show off.
But I didn't just get help from a specialist. I also got some help thanks to some products. So tomorrow we're going to have part 2 of the sleep series, Sleep Gadgets.
All right, if only I'm awake for it tomorrow. That was
You're gonna
awesome.
make it.
I learned some things.
You're going to make it.
Learned some things.